What's going on YouTube? Today I'm going to be giving you 5 useful tips and tricks that will make you a better killer when applied. No doubt about it. Some of these tips I've listed are not in any other videos from what I've seen, so make sure to stick around and watch. Maybe you'll be surprised. If you guys were wondering who I am and wanted to make sure that this is coming from a reliable source, then don't worry, I'm a rank 1 killer. I have around 260 hours in Dead by Daylight, and even though that's relatively small, I still have been rank 1 for a very long time. So I know what I'm talking about, at least a little bit. But this video is going to be catered to those lower ranks from like rank 10 to 20, but even if you're a ranks 9 to 1, you can still definitely learn something from this video. Just not as much as those lower ranks, obviously. Alright, so my first tip is listening and sound. As a survivor, you don't really need to pay attention to sound that much. You know, you could have like music playing in the background. However, as a killer, sound is one of your most important tools in the game. Survivors make so much noise when they are injured, walking through tall grass, repairing a gen, healing someone, etc. You get the point. And if you're not paying attention to the sound, your surroundings, then you just miss an easy down or even a hit. Make sure you have the volume turned up and you're using a good pair of headphones, like over the head headphones or something like that. I don't know how many times I heard a survivor trying to juke me, but I haven't noticed them, but they were caught because I heard them. So an example of me paying attention to sound carefully in action is in this clip. I run to a gen to make sure to check if people are here, and then I hear someone being healed just slightly, and I was able to get it down because I was paying attention and I just faintly heard him being healed. Second tip is learning to drop chases. You can lose a game just by chasing a survivor for too long in the beginning of the game. If a survivor is running you for more than 30 seconds and you still haven't gotten a hit on them, or if you hit a survivor after being ran for 30 seconds and they're going to run you for 30 more seconds, then stop chasing them. It's not worth it. You're losing yourself the game by chasing a survivor for that long, especially at the beginning of the game. The beginning of the game is the most important time of the game. So if you haven't gotten a hit in the first minute time, being looped the entire time, then drop the survivor and find someone else, because it may be already too late, honestly. Now, I'm not saying stop chasing a survivor just because they drop 2 pallets on you and does a little bit of mind games. Just learn when to realize, okay, this survivor is good and he's wasting my time right now. It's okay to admit that a survivor is better than you and he is looping the crap out of you. Just make sure that when you drop a chase, you're not mindlessly wandering the map. There are some loops that are just too strong for a survivor, and it's better to stop chasing them because you know they're going to loop you for a long time and your time is going to be wasted. My third tip is a very subtle but effective strategy, and it is hugging the walls / taking the fastest route / cutting them off. What I mean by this is optimizing your movement. So you're not wasting time and you're doing it as fast as possible, taking the fastest route possible. What I mean by this is if you're on a T and L loop, you want to be taking the fastest corners and hugging the walls as much as possible, so you're getting there as fast as possible. You don't want to be a couple feet away from the wall because that just takes more time to turn the corner. And that half a second or second it takes to turn the corner because you weren't hugging the wall makes the difference between the survivor vaulting through the window and you missing your hit, and the survivor bolting through the window and you just barely hitting them. That's just one example. Another example is if you're chasing a survivor and they're kinda in the open and you know they're going to go a certain direction, don't just follow their trail and go follow directly behind them. Anticipate their movement and cut them off. You want to maximize and optimize your movements as much as possible. By doing these subtle movements, you are making the difference between hitting and missing. But even if you know you're going to get the hit on them, there's nothing wrong with saving a couple of seconds, because at higher ranks, a couple seconds means everything. For example, in this clip, I'm hugging the walls tightly and taking the fastest possible route. I managed to hit the survivor because I was hugging the walls and optimizing my movement. However, in this clip, I wasn't really hugging the walls. I was taking wide turns, wide angles, and he managed to escape. Another example is in this clip. I know the survivor is running left. He's trying to go to to the killer basement. So I cut him off. I don't follow his trail. I go around this because I know he's going left. So I'm going to go left to maximize, to optimize my movement as much as possible and waste less time. And I end up killing him sooner and faster. And if the pallet was on this side of the door, he would have been able to make it and been able to drop it in and waste more time. My fourth tip is knowing the good perks and knowing the bad perks. Basically, knowing the meta perks. There are many killer perks that are just god awful, and there are some perks that are absolutely amazing, and adding them to your build will net you better results. For example, Doctor has a top tier perk called Monitor and Abuse. That's a very good perk. And a very bad perk called Overwhelming Presence. So know the differences between the good and the bad perks. You won't really, it's rare to have a killer that has 3 good perks. Also, there are perks that have good synergy together, and what I mean by this is that a lot of perks work really well together. Some examples of good perk combos are Sloppy Butcher and Nurse's Calling. That's a good combo. Barbecue and Chili and Pop Goes the Weasel. That's another good combo. Just to name 2 of the many good combos. I'll leave a link in the description to a website that lists all of the killer perks in order from best to worst, so you have an idea of the perk meta. That website is very reliable and very respectable. It's also updated very often, so you know you're not looking at old statistics. It's always updated to the current patch, so you don't need to worry about that. My final tip is knowing and mastering your killer. This ties in with our last tip a tiny bit, but some perks work great on some killers while some perks don't. For example, Monitor and Abuse is a great perk on many killers. However, if you're playing a stealth killer such as Ghostface, Wraith, or Pig, it may not be the best choice. Did you know that killers have different movement speeds? Typically 115% movement speed and 110% movement speed. Some examples of 115 MS killers are Ghostface and Wraith. Some 110 MS killers are Spirit and Deathslinger. This 5% doesn't seem that much on paper, however, that 5% can make the difference between getting hit by a pallet and hitting the survivor just before they're able to drop it. Each killer has a different playstyle and have different strengths and weaknesses. Master your killer and learn their strengths and weaknesses. This usually comes with time and playing a certain killer often, so you're not really going to learn this overnight, you're going to learn it over a while. For example, Freddy, aka the Nightmare, has very good map pressure due to his unique ability, Dream Projection, which allows him to teleport to any generator that isn't completed, and he's very good at shutting down loops due to his other power, Dream Snare or Dream Pallet. So to complement his amazing pressure, you want to get a perk like Barbecue and Chili or Pop Goes the Weasel. Another killer known as the Clown doesn't have very good map pressure at all. However, he's able to shut down certain loops due to his ability Afternoon Tonic, which blurs survivors' vision and slows them down. So these are just a couple examples of certain killer strengths and weaknesses. Every killer plays a little bit different from the other. That is the 5 tips I have for you today. I'll be making another video with more tips and tricks. I wanted to keep this video nice and short, but my next video will be more in depth and a little longer, so stick around for that, so stay tuned. If this video helped you out in any way, just please like, subscribe, comment down below if you thought it was helpful, and maybe comment down some other tips for other people as well. I'm also streaming on Twitch often, so if you want to come and check out some high level rank 1 killer and survivor gameplay, come and check me out at xroka. That's my @, I'll put it on the screen. I'll leave a link in the description. Come check me out and follow. If you ever see me active, make sure to tune in. So yeah, I hope this video helped you, and I'll see you. Peace.